Am I the asshole for telling my wife she isn't doing enough to confront her co-worker? My wife and I have been married for 7 years, we are in our early 30s. She rejoined work a few months ago after mat leave and has a new co-worker in her team. She immediately thought he was weird and tried to keep her distance, but he was pushy. Over the past couple of months, he's started flirting with her, complimenting the way she dresses, says things like the view from my desk is fantastic while looking at her. I want to be clear that I 100% trust my wife. But she's getting upset about his comments. I told her to go speak to HR or to speak to this guy directly and tell him to stop. But she keeps making excuses. I got pretty upset at her and told her it's clearly affecting her and it's annoying she isn't doing something to address it. She says I'm an asshole for getting upset at her without understanding why she can't do it. What do I do? Am I the asshole? Reported a number of men who had harassed me. It was a group effort because they said they'd see who would get me. I was engaged at the time. Got told off by HR and said many would kill for my job so I can go. You're the asshole. She is getting harassed at work and you feel the need to clarify that you trust her. Your wife just returned to work after mat leave, which can often be a precarious moment to have to prove yourself all over at your job. Shouldn't be but often is. Some creep is bugging her. She has to decide if it is even safe to confront him, if it's easier to avoid him, if other co-workers and HR would side with her. It is a delicate balance for her to try to get the harassment to stop while preserving her career. Get over yourself and support your wife and whatever she decides to do. I've never spoken to a woman who has reported harassment in the workplace and it's gone well for her. Myself included. It's a sad truth that we just learn to deal with it instead of risking losing our job or worse. You're the asshole. Your wife is being sexually harassed at work and you're basically blaming her for it at this point. Just letting you know that reporting sexual harassment very often leads to no consequences for anyone else but the person reporting it. You're the asshole. Can you please consider all the reasons a woman does not confront a pushy man? Your wife would simply be scared. HR isn't very helpful with such topics and talking to the guy directly puts her in danger. He already showed that he is unimpressed by her ignoring him. You are blaming your wife for the actions of someone else. Yay. You're the asshole for getting mad at her. It's hard navigating unwanted attention in the workplace. A lot of people will still label women as sensitive complainers. He has been there longer than her and he probably won't get fired, so she will have to keep dealing with him and he will be salty and mad. What she may want to do is talk to some other female co-workers and get their take or some strategies from them. For sure this isn't the first time he has behaved this way and they may know the best strategy. She's probably worried about her job, about how her co-workers will react to her and about whether she will even be believed if she goes to HR. He's probably a really nice guy who doesn't mean any harm and it's just his way. She needs to learn to take a compliment and be less stuck up before trying to ruin a good guy's career. It's really not an easy thing to confront. She should mention it to a supervisor, of course, but maybe they are all friends and she's the new girl, so talk it through and come up with a plan together. Don't tell her what she should do but ask her what she is comfortable doing. You're the asshole. That's sexual harassment kinda weird in general how you're cool with her getting harassed and can turn very ugly real quick. If he's that delusional that he doesn't know how inappropriately he's behaving, then he could totally think she's into him and make a move. If she refuses, then he could easily think she was leading him on the whole time and escalate. Women are scared for a reason. Don't you ever dare try and stop her from trusting her guts. Support her and help her find a new job if it goes wrong. BC, we all know women who report stuff are usually the ones getting fired. BC, we still live in a patriarchy. You're the asshole. Listen, for women this is such a hard situation. We get penalized if we speak up. We become the problem. The sexual harasser almost never reaps the consequences. The emotional woman who just came back from maternity leave is the one who will get the consequences, not this creepy guy. Catch my drift? You're making this about you. You're the asshole. She doesn't want to be murdered. You're the asshole. When women refuse. She wants you to say, "That's messed up, babe. I love you and can't believe this is happening. I trust you will find the way to deal with this." You're the asshole. Initially I was going to say no holes here, then switched to soft you're the asshole, but now you seem even a bigger asshole. One, the way you are not trying to understand the position of your wife, saying she isn't doing anything. 2, saying you trust your wife, then implying she might be enjoying this. 3, making this about you and getting upset at her. 4, saying she keeps making excuses like, do you think she likes it? Did you ask her for one goddamn second why she hates the idea of reporting to HR? You're the asshole. I'm sure your wife is sick of you mansplaining something you will never understand. Do you know what happened when I confronted a coworker over his actions? I was put up against the fridge with his hand around my neck. You have no bloody idea and are talking from a privileged position. You're the asshole for getting mad at her. Women get murdered or retaliated against all the time for rejecting men's advances. You're the asshole for not understanding how difficult it is to be a woman in this situation. You're the asshole. You clearly don't get why she can't do that without hurting her career or making things worse. Do some reading, ask some questions. You're the asshole. X200B. Instead of being supportive, you are making sure she faces the same pressure at home that she faces at work. You're the asshole. I work in construction and was verbally and physically harassed relentlessly on the job. The one and only time I reported it was when I literally feared for my life. They put the entire company through mandatory sexual harassment training and every single person on the site knew exactly who and why. I had to be transferred to a new site a month later because everyone became immediately hostile to me over it. It's not that easy. But she keeps making excuses. She says I'm an asshole for getting upset at her without understanding why she can't do it. Info, what are her excuses? Info, haven't seen you answering this, so I asked, what kind of excuses is she telling you? I think you are unintentionally you're the asshole because you haven't experienced being a woman. Workplaces are not much better than high school, where the bullies are protected and their victims are punished. Things that happen when women report harassment in the workplace. They get labeled as a troublemaker and their careers suffer. The bully feels slighted and their behavior escalates. They get bullied until they quit. They get fired for false allegations. Etc. etc. You now understand why your wife is wary of speaking up. The time I went and reported it, I was told I was wrong, and the guy's wife was a stripper, so he had no need to be saying the things he was saying. I even had witnesses that stated they heard him say those things didn't matter. My shift is changed. I need to getting less hours. It taught me to keep my mouth shut when your wife says what she's saying to you about the way she's handling it. She's not lying. She's having to learn to play the game, which is a sad statement, but it's the truth. I have to add this. Everyone thinks the job of HR is to protect the employee. It's not, it's to protect the employer. You're the asshole, if only for recommending that she go to HR. HR is not her friend and will immediately see her as a liability that needs to be removed from the company. Yes and no. As a man, you don't have an understanding of how intimidating and uncomfortable the position your wife is in can be. If she makes a stink about this, she could be labeled a troublemaker and it could affect her career. Obviously you want to help, and reporting him, asking him to stop does seem like the obvious answer. I feel like you're the asshole for getting annoyed at her, though she's probably already stressed from the situation at work. You're the asshole. I'm not even going to give my reasons why, because I honestly don't think you're capable of understanding them. She needs to articulate to you why she can't do it, but I get it. Women are still discriminated against in the workplace. I was sexually harassed by a senior guy with a great reputation who had gotten an award for his ethical values. There was no way I was coming away from any complaints unscathed. I was devastated, but left it alone. Nah.